On July 11, 1936, a clandestine flight departed from Croydon Airport in England, carrying a passenger who would shape the destiny of Spain and foreshadow the horrors of World War II. That passenger was General Francisco Franco, a ruthless and ambitious military officer. This seemingly insignificant event marked the beginning of the Spanish Civil War, a conflict that would become a brutal prelude to a global conflict, pitting brother against brother and democracy against fascism. Franco's flight was not merely a journey, but a calculated gamble. Spain, already teetering on the brink of chaos, erupted into open warfare following the assassination of a prominent right-wing politician. This assassination ignited long-simmering tensions between the left-leaning Republican government and the right-wing nationalist faction, to which Franco belonged. As Franco rallied his troops in Spanish Morocco, the world watched with bated breath. Little did they know that this conflict in a relatively small European nation would serve as a testing ground for the ideologies and military strategies that would soon engulf the entire world in the conflagration of World War II. The Spanish Civil War did not erupt overnight. Its roots lay in the deep-seated social, economic, and political divisions that had long plagued Spanish society. The overthrow of the monarchy in 1931 and the establishment of the Second Spanish Republic, while welcomed by many, also exacerbated these divisions. The Republican government, comprised of a fragile coalition of liberals, socialists, and communists, faced immense challenges. Spain's economy was struggling, unemployment was high, and land reform remained a contentious issue. This instability created fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. On the right, the Falange, a fascist party inspired by Mussolini's Italy, gained traction, while on the left, anarchists and communists grew increasingly influential. The assassination of José Calvo Sotelo, a monarchist politician, in July 1936 proved to be the tipping point. The fragile peace shattered and Spain descended into civil war. The Spanish Civil War quickly escalated from a domestic struggle into a proxy war, drawing in foreign powers eager to test their military might and advance their ideologies. Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, eager to expand their influence and test new weapons, threw their support behind Franco's nationalists. Hitler saw Spain as a proving ground for his Luftwaffe and the blitzkrieg tactics that would later terrorize Europe. On the other side, the Soviet Union provided crucial aid to the Republicans, seeing an opportunity to combat the spread of fascism. The international brigades, composed of volunteers from across the globe, also flocked to Spain to defend the Republic, driven by a sense of international solidarity and a desire to fight fascism. The war itself was characterized by its brutality and ferocity. Key battles, such as the Siege of Madrid, the Battle of Jarama, and the Battle of the Ebro, resulted in staggering casualties. The conflict also witnessed horrific atrocities committed by both sides, with civilians often bearing the brunt of the violence. The bombing of Guernica by the German Condor Legion, immortalized in Picasso's haunting painting, stands as a chilling testament to the war's brutality and the deliberate targeting of civilians. The Spanish Civil War served as a tragic dress rehearsal for World War II, foreshadowing the global conflict's ideological clashes and military innovations. It was a battleground not just for territory but for the very soul of Europe. On one side stood the forces of fascism, represented by Franco's nationalists, who sought to establish an authoritarian state. On the other side stood the Republicans, a diverse coalition united in their opposition to fascism, but divided by their own internal ideological differences. The Republicans fought for democracy, social justice, and the preservation of the Spanish Republic. The war also showcased the devastating potential of new military technologies. The German Condor Legion's aerial bombardment of Guernica in particular demonstrated the terrifying power of air power and its ability to inflict mass civilian casualties. The conflict also saw the widespread use of tanks, artillery, and other weapons that would come to define the battlefields of World War II. Section 5, Triumph and Terror, the Legacy of Franco's Victory. In 1939, after 3 years of brutal conflict, Franco's nationalists emerged victorious. The Republic lay in ruins, its democratic experiment crushed beneath the heel of authoritarianism. Franco's victory ushered in a dark period of repression in Spain. Tens of thousands of Republicans were imprisoned, executed, or forced into exile. Franco's regime, based on a potent mix of nationalism, Catholicism, and anti-communism, ruthlessly suppressed all forms of dissent. Freedom of speech, assembly, and the press were extinguished, and Spain became a pariah state in the eyes of many in the democratic world. The scars of the Civil War and the subsequent repression would take decades to heal, and its legacy continues to shape Spanish society today. Franco's victory also had profound implications for the international order. The failure of the democratic powers to intervene decisively in Spain emboldened Hitler, who saw the conflict as evidence of the West's weakness and unwillingness to confront aggression. Section 6. Echoes of Spain, the global impact and enduring lessons. The Spanish Civil War, while geographically confined to a single nation, sent shockwaves throughout Europe and beyond. It exposed the growing rift between democratic and totalitarian ideologies and the dangers of appeasement. The conflict also highlighted the horrors of modern warfare and the devastating impact on civilian populations. The war's legacy continues to resonate today, serving as a stark reminder of the fragility of democracy and the importance of confronting extremism. It also underscores the dangers of political polarization and the ease with which societies can fracture along ideological lines. Section 7. The Spanish Civil War in Literature and Art. The Spanish Civil War, with its potent mix of idealism, brutality, and tragedy, had a profound impact on 20th-century literature and art. Writers and artists from around the world, many of whom had witnessed the conflict firsthand, grappled with its complexities and enduring legacy in their work. Ernest Hemingway's A Novel Set During the War captured the heroism and sacrifice of the international brigades. George Orwell's A Personal Account of His Experiences Fighting in the War provided a searing critique of totalitarianism and the betrayal of the Spanish Republic. Pablo Picasso's A Monumental Anti-War Painting immortalized the horrors of the bombing of Guernica and became an iconic symbol of the conflict's brutality. These works, along with countless others, ensured that the memory of the Spanish Civil War and its victims would not be forgotten. They served as powerful reminders of the human cost of conflict and the enduring importance of fighting for freedom and justice. Section 8. Remembering the Past. Memorialization and Reconciliation. In the decades following the Spanish Civil War, the process of remembering and coming to terms with the conflict has been complex and often fraught with difficulty. Under Franco's dictatorship, any public acknowledgement of the Republican side or the atrocities committed by the nationalists was suppressed. However, with the transition to democracy in the late 1970s, there was a growing movement to recover the suppressed history of the war and to honor the memory of its victims. Mass graves were excavated, memorials were erected, and efforts were made to locate and identify the disappeared. The process of reconciliation and dealing with the legacy of the war continues to this day. It involves acknowledging the injustices of the past, seeking forgiveness, and promoting understanding between those on different sides of the conflict. Section 9. Conclusion: the Spanish Civil War's long shadow. The Spanish Civil War, though fought over 8 decades ago, continues to cast a long shadow over Spain and the world. It serves as a chilling reminder of the human capacity for cruelty, the fragility of democracy, and the devastating consequences of political extremism. Yet amidst the tragedy and loss, there are also stories of courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment to ideals. The war's legacy is a complex one, marked by both the scars of division and the ongoing efforts at reconciliation. By remembering the lessons of the past, we can strive to build a future where such conflicts are consigned to the history books, never to be repeated. The Spanish Civil War, in its tragedy and its heroism, reminds us that the fight for freedom and justice is a perpetual struggle, one that demands our constant vigilance and unwavering commitment.